Hey guys, what is going on? You are checking out an all new the RCWR show. We are coming at you for Wednesday night of March the 11th, 2020. What is going on, guys? Lee Sanders here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week. Appreciate it as always. Here we are. My God, we were here Monday night and we pretty much had a 24-hour break and we're back again. Some interesting setup for next week's AEW Dynamite. Just when you thought that maybe this was going to be the week that we were going to finally find out who exactly was the Exalted One, we've got to wait one more week. And I do not blame you guys for feeling a little bit disappointed tonight, because Evil Uno, he really is the one that got the ball started today. In case you missed it on social media, he did tweet out there that the Exalted One was going to be revealed, and a lot of people were under the impression, tonight's the night, it's got to be the night. We're going to have to wait next week. And you know what, honestly, with the way things had panned out tonight, with all the excitement in the air of everybody trying to figure out who exactly was the Exalted One, and then we don't get the Exalted One, but for tuning in, we were rewarded, so to speak, in finding out who Jake Roberts is now managing. You kind of go like the Meatloaf song, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So, yeah, interesting dynamics that's going on there. We had Charlotte Flair make an appearance on NXT for this week, responding to what Rhea Ripley did to her on this week's Monday Night Raw. A little bit of tick for tat, basically. So, and of course, the biggest piece of news that's going around, not just in the entire world, but to some degree, it definitely has been making its rounds in the wrestling community. And now that I have more information about it, I can definitely comment about it for the very first time, which is the coronavirus that's going around, and how it is just affecting so many people. Even yours truly has been affected by the coronavirus, not by having the coronavirus, mind you, or any of my loved ones, but just everything that's going on with it, especially with the stock market and everything. Yours truly has been a casualty of it as well, to a degree. We'll talk a lot about that on this episode, so kick on back and relax. I do want to make this be, normally I like doing a 2-hour show, but we're going to have this be essentially an hour 15, maybe almost an hour 20. I got to do a couple of unboxings with the missus, and then we got to talk a little bit more about the wedding. Again, ties into the coronavirus because it's affecting us in a big way. I'll tell you a little bit more about it later on, but kick on back for now. We're definitely going to be talking about key points from this week's AEW Dynamite. We'll also talk about some key points from this week's WWE NXT, as this is your AEW March 11, 2020 and WWE NXT recap and review. Also throwing some headlines in there as well. So those of you that check out the shows on demand and on the downloads, appreciate that love and the support as always. I'm hoping that before 2020 is up, with regards to when the show is initially live, I really hope we can get the numbers even, but there's so much real estate that's out there right now. There's so many other podcasts that now do the webcast live and everything. And I do have my eyes out there trying to see as far as, okay, what's maybe the next avenue that we can tap into to try to go live and everything, like where should we go next with this? So those of you that always tune in live, I do appreciate that, but even more so, I appreciate those that check out the show live, I do appreciate those that check out the show on demand and on the downloads, because you guys are very steady in representing the show through those respected outlets. So AEW Dynamite tonight, as I said a few seconds ago, we finally found out who Jake Roberts was referring to, that he's going to be teaming up with to ensure that, as far as Cody Rhodes is concerned, with regards to the whole piece of the pie, Jake Roberts doesn't really care about anybody else's. He just wants to make sure that Cody Rhodes' pie he takes. Just his pie, that's it. So we see Jake Roberts who still has that weird haircut that some of you guys were pointing out. And I tell you what, I missed it the first go round because I was so excited that, oh my God, Jake Roberts is on my television again. This is badass. Who'd have thunk it? 2020, Jake Roberts is on the freaking TV set. This is awesome. And I didn't notice that Jake Roberts had the looked like he was in the process of getting a haircut on one side. Jake, you're on. Come on. And Jake just hurried up and grabbed his jacket. Oh shit, man, damn. And he just rolled out there. We were under the impression that maybe this week the hair was finally going to be, but it was not. He's still pushing that. That's a thing now with some people. I'm not going to really knock it. It's a thing now. It's quite a popular thing. It is what it is for some people. But Jake Roberts, turns out his client is the one, the only, I wish there was a drum roll, Lance Archer. Lance Archer is, well, you know what? Let me see something here. I wonder if I might have that one sound effect. Ah, yes. I don't have that sound effect, but I do have the next best thing as far as sound effects go. So let's try that again. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Jake Roberts is proud to present his client, Lance Archer. Wait. No, seriously. Lance Archer. Lance Archer. Look, Lance Archer, I remember this guy when he was in that group in TNA, the Rockin' Rave Injection, I believe was the name of that stable, and they had Christy Hemme. The best thing about that little trio was Christy Hemme. Lance Archer, I remember looking at him back then in TNA and I said, okay, he's a big dude. He's got good size to him, nice good height, got some good width to him, nice wide shoulders. I see a little something. But even I could have told you way back then when I was looking at him during his TNA days, I could have told you back then, as far as World Heavyweight Championship material, as far as maybe TV Championship material, I'm not seeing that. At that point. And past that, it was, okay, good utility players. You know, some people you look at and you just go, great utility player. And there's nothing wrong with being a utility player. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But then, afterwards, I checked out a little bit of his stuff in New Japan Pro Wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling, it was okay. I remember one of the first things that stood out in my mind when I think of Lance Archer, not just in TNA, but also in New Japan, I go, oh yeah, it's the big tall dude that's got the tramp stamp on his lower back, kind of going to his butt crack. Yeah, I remember that guy. So when I see him in New Japan, I'm going, okay, well, it's been a minute since I saw him in TNA. Let me see what's going on with him. And it was still one of those, well, he's got the height. He's got nice wide shoulders. But as far as personality goes, there was nothing I gravitated towards. Nothing. Nothing was clicking for me. Just to, okay, as a fan. And look, there's nothing wrong with being a fan of a heel. Definitely nothing wrong with being a fan of a babyface. But when you're a wrestling fan and you just feel very indifferent about somebody, you can't help but go, well, why is that? Why is it that when this person comes out, I'm not feeling any particular way? with this person? What is it about them that, and for me, I just felt that there was no personality whatsoever. I felt that Lance Hoyt was very, very bland as I don't know what. And, right down to the point, let's really be honest there. Can we? Let's be candid here. When you go back to his initial run there in Impact Wrestling, like I said, Christy Hemme was who you had rock and rave infection. You're like, hey, Christy, hey, all right, Christy Hemme, yeah, all right, now I like that, yeah. Who was the other guy that was in there in that stable as well? I think it was Jimmy Rave. I think Jimmy Rave was part of that as well. God, I can't remember the last time I saw Jimmy Rave. It's been so long since I've seen him. And I know he went as far back as ROH and everything. Matter of fact, he did 2 waves. Maybe even, no. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think he appeared in ROH on at least 5 to 7 occasions over the years. And he's pretty much been on the independent circuit. I really haven't seen that much of him since. I know he's doing some stuff in Rampage Pro Wrestling. I couldn't even tell you the other promotions. Maybe Dragon Gate as well. He's been doing a little something, but he's one I really haven't been able to follow like that over the years. But Lance Hoyt's personality, even going as far back as TNA and then seeing what he was doing in New Japan, more recent too, because I remember when Josh Barnett and Jim Ross were still providing English commentating for New Japan on Access TV. I wasn't really that impressed then. And shout out to John Draper. I was interacting with him earlier, and I told him, I said, because we both were literally thinking and saying the same thing out loud, which is, it's crazy that so many people know about Lance Hoyt and they just think the entire world of him. They think he is the shit. And to hear Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone and them on commentating tonight saying that Lance Hoyt is a future main event star, seeing is believing is all I have to say right now. Seeing is believing. So to see Jake Roberts sitting with the crowd and you see this big, tall looking dude, I'm looking at him like, oh, that's Lance Hoyt. All right, yeah, okay, I recognize him. That's Lance Hoyt. Look, it's still early. I gotta see. When it's all said and done, I need to see what is gonna come about with this. It could not hurt one little bit that Jake Roberts is now paired up with Lance Hoyt. I think him being paired up with Lance is very beneficial for Lance, because to the point that I was making earlier, as far as Lance being pretty bland, I don't know, maybe he's different now, but to have Jake Roberts be the guy that's gonna do all the work as far as on the microphone, Lance maybe once in the blue moon will pull a little something out there. Maybe he'll give you some nice, juicy little sound bites. But for everything to essentially fall on the shoulders of Roberts to get Hoyt over, I'm okay with that. We saw a little bit of a tease tonight where it was kind of looking as though maybe Lance was going to interfere in Cody's match, as Cody was in action against Ortiz. That actually was a pretty good match. Cody coming out of that on top. Winning submission too, by the way. Winning via submission. Post-match, and as far as Lance Hoyt and Jake Roberts go, they saw what they needed to see. Although Lance Hoyt, he did want to attack Cody, but Jake Roberts held him back and pretty much ain't even worth it. Forget about it. So they actually took off. I thought for sure maybe they were going to do a little something post-match, but they didn't. They basically were just out there scouting. Also sending a message to Cody and Arn Anderson, hey, we're here. You ain't think you was going to be seeing us for a couple of weeks, but hey, we're here. So they pretty much had rolled out afterwards. And like I said, Cody picking up the W over Ortiz. Good match. That was actually a pretty good opening matchup. Post-match, Le Champion, Chris Jericho, Jack Hager, Sammy Guevara, they were seen on the Titantron sending a message to Cody, Jericho, basically saying, hey, don't think that for 1 second, based on what I had said last week, hey, dipshits, any and everybody is in our crosshairs. We're bringing the ruckus, basically, was what the champion Jericho was saying. And he pointed out, hey, you notice there, with regards to your boy, Nick Jackson, you notice he wasn't there at ringside with you guys, yeah? Because you had Arn Anderson, you had Brandy, I believe Matt Jackson was there too. But with regards to Nick Jackson, it turns out the Inner Circle had beat the living crap out of Nick Jackson. And they did this really cool pan away shot. I'm actually going to have that be part of the official thumbnail for the show when I get a chance to set it up. They actually had poor Nick Jackson, who was under the freaking the dock door, basically, and he's just bloodied up really good. It was a fantastic visual, and you couldn't help but go, why is this probably the first time seeing something like this, if not in years ever? Like, normally you don't see stuff like that. You don't see somebody trapped under the loading dock door like that. What the hell? It was a great visual. I loved it tremendously. It was some good stuff. Cody, Brandy, and everybody, they quickly had hurried backstage to try to help out their comrade. By then, Inner Circle, they already had made their exit. Nick Jackson actually had to go be placed in an ambulance and was taken to the hospital as Cody and the crew had followed suit. This pretty much was it for them for rest of the night, or at least so we thought. Next matchup of the night, Bea Priestley was in action as she teamed up against Nyla Rose. They defeated Chris Statlander and Sheeta. It was actually a pretty good matchup. Chris Statlander, I think Chris Statlander does better in tag matches as opposed to singles matches, because there's been quite a number of singles matches where she's been a bit botchy, so to speak. So it was nice to just take a night off and just see her in tag action. All the girls actually did pretty good. I got to give them a lot of props. All the girls did pretty solid tonight. Again, Bea Priestley and Nyla Rose defeating Chris Statlander and Sheeta. And I want to do this before I continue on with the show. I want to give you guys a friendly reminder. And I'm going to be saying this for the next little bit. It's probably going to be a permanent thing. You know, on YouTube, we have 11,000 and I think it's now up to 685 subscribers. It would be really badass before... I'll put a realistic goal out there. It would be badass before... 11,682. It would be badass if before June we could see 12,000 subscribers. That would be badass. But here's the thing. Just because you subscribe, that doesn't mean anything. If you aren't getting the notifications for checking out the shows, then you're really hurting yourselves. Now, can't stress it enough. If you decide to subscribe to YouTube, on top of hitting subscribe, make sure you click on the bell icon. The bell icon by default is going to say personalized notifications. I highly recommend you click on all notifications. That way you guys will know every time I upload something new or I'm getting ready to go live. You guys will always be in the 401. And unlike some YouTube channels where they'll do something every 5 minutes, on the hour, every hour, you're not going to get spammed like that by selecting all notifications. You're either going to get notified when there's a new upload, when there's a new live show, or maybe I post something in the communities tab. Could be something in the form of a poll, or maybe I'm giving my thoughts about a particular thing. Let's see you guys represent and make sure you click on all notifications, because I do want to see in 2020, when it comes particularly to the live web streams, I do want to see a lot more interaction from you guys. All right, next up, I don't really have too much more to add to the women's match, by the way. Except it kind of appears as though, with the way things are looking, Nyla Rose is public enemy number one. Although it was really cool how B. Priestley and Nyla Rose gelled together as a tag team. Thought it was even more interesting how post-match Priestley attacked Nyla Rose from behind and pretty much letting Nyla Rose, hey, what we did as a tag team, that's all fine and everything. That's business. But when it comes to you and me personally, nah, sister, you and me ain't peachy. You got something I want, and I definitely want a shot at that AEW Women's Championship. So, message loud and clear right there. So, think about that. Not only do you have Priestley that's fixing for a match against the women's champion in Nyla Rose, but you also got Chris Statlander and Sheeta that are the respected number 1 and 2 contenders right there. So a lot of interesting dynamics that's going on. All those women eyeballing Nyla Rose. Are we going to continue to see one-on-one matches for Nyla, or is eventually a case going to come about where she's going to have to defend that title against multiple women at the same time? Is it maybe going to lead to a triple threat match? Your guess is as good as mine. Wouldn't actually mind seeing something like that. Christopher Daniels had the spot of the night. It was actually pretty hilarious. He was spoofing the Dark Order and their little vignettes as Chris Daniels popped up. Hey, I'm Christopher Daniels. You may know me from such exclusives as being the Elite. Christopher Daniels almost died. And the way he just did that, it just kind of reminded me a lot of Troy McClure from The Simpsons, and voiced by the late Phil Hartman. I love me some Phil Hartman, one of my all-time favorite SNL alumni. I spend many times off and on throughout the year for many years thinking about Phil, Chris Farley. I grew up on those guys, so I always can't help but wonder, what would those guys be doing right about now? And I could just picture all the craziness, just them as voice actors and everything. But I couldn't help, when Daniels was doing that spot, think very fondly of the late Phil Hartman. Hi, I'm Troy McClure. You must remember me from, or you probably know me from such films as, love me some Troy McClure. But Christopher Daniels doing his own spoof on being the elite. Christopher Daniels almost died, doing his own spoof on the Dark Order, constantly saying Dark Order sucks. And he put a stipulation out there. He said, hey, Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, with regards to this Exalted One, there is no Exalted One. And just to prove my point that there is no Exalted One, I will face you, Evil Uno, or you, Stu Grayson. It could be at the same time, or it could be one-on-one, but, you know, one of you guys is essentially there at ringside. It was some weird little silly stipulation that he put out there like that, and basically he's saying, once I defeat you guys, and we see that without a shadow of doubt, there is no Exalted One that's going to appear and everything, well, then my point will be very valid, and you guys can just continue to suck and really just go disappear somewhere. So that challenge would be accepted later on in the night, as we had received breaking news right before Dynamite went off the air that, in fact, Christopher Daniels, he will be in action next Wednesday night. And we are guaranteed that at least by the Dark Order, the Exalted One will be making his appearance. You heard me right. The Exalted One will be making his appearance. And as a matter of fact, let me see if I can find for you guys the official who is going to be facing Christopher Daniels. I'm just checking right here for next week. Just reading it real quick here. And I'm not seeing it right now, which sucks, because I thought I had it in here, but I'm not seeing it. I thought we knew for sure. So just kind of have that in the back of your mind. Next week, it's either going to be Daniels facing Stu Grayson, or he's going to be facing Evil Uno. So either way, should be pretty good. We're guaranteed that the Exalted One is going to be appearing. We'll see how that comes about. Now, it could be Matt Hardy. At this point, it could be Matt Hardy, or we really need to prepare ourselves. It could be Luke Harper. Everybody is so gung-ho on Matt Hardy right now. And if I could just really give my 2 cents from a distance, Matt Hardy is already making his rounds, showing up on the indies. And in case you had missed it, he actually had showed up at the big event over the weekend. And I would have loved to have gone from that event. If you remember last week, we were talking about that big event. Or actually, not even last week. I want to say it was more so 2 weeks ago. We were promoting the big event. And the fact that I promoted it, understand something. When I promote something, especially on the East Coast, Northeast or what have you, when I promote something, that's really my way of kind of letting you know this looks really fucking cool, and you may want to consider going if you have the resources to make it happen. And it was just a great, you guys remember I was on the show last week and we were going over who all was going to be there, but the marquee names, Undertaker, Matt Hardy, Braun Strowman, you're like, whoa, this is badass. And it's not every day, especially on the East Coast, that you get an opportunity. I'm telling you, boys and girls, I'm telling you straight up, if I didn't have to be concerned about the wedding in May, I sure as hell would have taken the big gold belt and I would have gotten me a hotel room for the night. Sadly, my girl had to work that respective weekend, but I definitely would have taken the big gold belt and I would have either taken a Greyhound or I would have pushed Amtrak. I would have gone out there and I definitely would have taken advantage of a photograph and autograph opportunity with the dead man himself, chat with him a little bit. I definitely would have done that. But they're saying they're going to be back in November. They're going to be back November the 14th, if I remember it right, based on some of the reports that's floating around there. And I actually did skim ahead a little bit, and I believe that is on a Friday. If not a Friday, I believe it's on a Saturday. Friday or Saturday it's on. I'm definitely going to be going to that. And just to not let it seem as though I'm bullshitting you guys around, I've already booked my hotel. For big event November 14th. So I'm definitely going, and hopefully, some of my fellow friends, especially in the podcasting world, will be going to that. If you guys plan on going to that event in the fall, let me know. Maybe we could do a little meetup, go grab some drinks or whatever. That'd be kind of cool. Butcher, Blade, MJF, they were in action. They took on the Jurassic Express, all 3 members of the Jurassic Express. Butcher, Blade, MJF picking up the W there. We saw that MJF, it came rather quickly too. That team was able to win thanks to Marco Stunt being so hot-headed. Marco Stunt, at one point, he decided he wanted to be fucking Peyton Manning. And he was calling the audibles, telling Jungle Boy what to do from the top rope and how he was going to go to the top rope as well and everything. And the Bunny getting involved, setting everything up for a nice distraction for the referee and everything. Numbers game a bit too much. Divide and conquer for Butcher and the Blade. MJF being the legal man, he was able to take advantage of Marco Stunt, who was the legal guy, put a armbar submission hold on him, and Marco Stunt tapped out rather freaking quickly. It was just barely applied, and the little guy freaking tapped out. That's a really good thing that they got going on right there with Jungle Express, and I can't help but wonder if, because of the actions of what came about with Marco Stunt, I gotta tell you something. I normally wouldn't read too much into that and everything, but that did not seem very, what's the right word I'm looking for? It felt very uncharacteristic what we had saw of Marco Stunt. Normally, anytime we see him, he's pretty reserved, and when he's calling for a hot tag, he'll get fired up and he'll come in with the quick offense, doing flips, drop kicks and everything. But this was this was very uncharacteristic to see him get so explosive. Jungle Boy felt that he had it all under control, but Marco Stunt wanted to take the lead and everything. I hope I'm just overreading that, and it's not maybe the beginning of the end here, where maybe Marco Stunt gets taken out and somebody else goes in his place in Jurassic Express. Some type of an eventual ascension that's going to be happening with Jurassic Express. I really hope that's not the case, and it was just one of those type of deals where Marco Stunt just really felt that he had things under control, and yeah, that was really weird though. It was really, really weird. Death Triangle, they were in action tonight. They defeated Joey Janela, Private Party. Actually was a pretty damn good tag matchup. Actually, I had enjoyed that one. That came in. That match was actually pretty good. It ran about 12 minutes long there. Post match, we saw Death Triangle. They had applied submission on all three of those guys post match, doing more insult to injury. This prompted the Best Friends and Orange Cassidy to come out, make the save. Later on in the night, we saw Dustin Rhodes was dressed up. He was spoiling for a fight, and it would appear that he was actually going to be teaming up with the Cowboy, Hangman Adam Page, to take on the Inner Circle in the main event match of the night. Shawn Spears, in case you guys are wondering what's been going on with Shawn Spears is still looking for a tag team partner, and he is still accepting video applications. We finally found out the rules for Blood and Guts. Check this out, people. 2 rings, 1 cage, basic kind of war games, if you will, but you can only win by submission or surrender. So essentially submission, because submission, you're tapping out. Surrender, I give up. So essentially, you get it's the same damn thing, but that's how they pretty much had set it up. Next week, again, the Exalted One will be revealed. Lucha Brothers will be taking on the Best Friends. The Elite will be facing Inner Circle in a trios tag with the Blood and Guts advantage on the line. So that is going to be pretty damn good. And remember, with regards to Blood and Guts edition of AEW, that's going to be coming in 2 weeks. Again, in 2 weeks, that's going to be happening. Saw a little vignette from earlier where JR was interviewing John Mox. He's not clear to compete right now. Mox is pretty pissed off about that, pretty hurt as well. And he says he won the game, he won the championship. He dares anyone to try to step up to the plate and take away that championship from him. He also has a message for Hager, telling Jack Hager to step into the box. Hager is just another guy to him, and he's not going to be missing Blood and Guts in 2 weeks. He guarantees that he will be there. He also mentioned that with regards to Inner Circle and their supposed job in taking him out last week, they failed. And they got a lot to deal with. They're going to be dealing with the Elite, but he said he will be there in their blind spot. So they should be very, very afraid of him. Main event match, Hangman Page, Dustin Rhodes taking on Chris Jericho, Sammy Guevara. Pretty good matchup. A little short. I actually wish that would have went a little bit longer. I was hoping that maybe that would go about almost 20 minutes, but most of the time kind of went to the previous 2 matches and everything. Hangman Page, Dustin Rhodes. I believe they had loss in that matchup. Trying to look in my notes here. I believe I want to say Inner Circle. Let me think, guys. Because at this point, I was actually starting to get ready for the show. It'll come back to me in a little bit, but I remember this much. Post-match, Cody apparently came back. And I thought that was so freaking weird, because it was, wait a minute, we just saw you leave in a car with the rest of the guys to go see Nick Jackson off to the hospital and everything. Like, what the hell? So I thought that was kind of weird that Cody and a couple other guys had came back, but they all got their asses handed to them by Inner Circle yet again. And Inner Circle pretty much ending things like they had did last week, giving fuck yous to the camera and everything with their middle fingers all high and mighty in the air. And Kenny Omega was out there too. Kenny Omega had actually tried to come out for the save. He got the beat down as well. Jericho laying him out with the Judas effect. Matt Jackson tried to come in for the save, connected with a super kick, did a spear, try to help out Paige and everything. And Jericho Inner Circle. It was just too much. It was a numbers game once again. So, it was a pretty good AEW Dynamite this week. I gotta say, it was very well produced. And when I say well produced, what I mean by that is things have been drastically different for AEW in kicking off 2020. And to follow up on what I had said a couple of months ago, I told you guys, I said, give these guys time. And give these guys the time that they need to grow into these roles, be able to kick back and really listen to the feedback that they are able to get, not just from fans, but from podcasters as well. And one of the main things that AEW was lacking in that we had talked about in the previous months was AEW is lacking in, doing vignettes. They are lacking in a storyline and building up the continuity in that. And then the other issue that they had going on was, okay, you keep bringing in all these new people, and then whatever possible story arc you might have been building up, now it's on a cliffhanger, and it kind of comes off like you guys aren't really sure you know what to do and everything. And we see that things, at one point, AEW got to a point where it was about blown up, long drawn out matches, and now things are really getting more fine tuned. They're really doing a better job. And, for instance, Darby Allin is still not done with Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho. We saw a nice little black and white video tonight where he essentially took little paper mask versions of them. It was their faces on little rubber band fake me out mask or whatever with holes in them and everything. And it was beautifully produced. I'm not sure if Darby Allin was the one that really handled all of that, but I thought anytime he does some stuff for AEW, I love it. I love it. It's very well produced. It feels very out of the box. It almost feels like it's not really part of Dynamite. You get what I'm saying? And yet at the same time, it complements Dynamite so well. But Darby Allin does these kick-ass vignettes. He did another one tonight where he's essentially saying to Jericho and Guevara, I'm not done with you guys yet. So that was pretty badass how they did that. Not to mention, you got the continuity there in Britt Baker. Now I gotta say, Britt Baker tonight, she was a bit rough in some areas. She kind of felt a little, what's the right word I'm looking for? Baker felt a little chaotic tonight. And I don't mean chaotic in the nicest way possible. It kind of felt like she was kind of all over the place and she really wasn't quite sure how to deliver certain lines properly. And, she almost kind of came off like a deer in the headlights, and I was pretty concerned about her tonight because I've seen stronger promos from her, and tonight it kind of felt like she was almost reverting back to, and it kind of made me feel a little uncomfortable at times what I was seeing of her. She started off kind of lukewarm. She never got hot. She just started off lukewarm, and then she went cold. And then it was about to just get downright ice cold out there. And then Big Swole came out. Big Swole, the timing of that was perfect. Because I felt if Britt Baker would have gone on for 5 more minutes, they would have had no choice but to go to a commercial break, in all honesty. So the fact that they had Big Swole come out there. All right, so now we know what's in the future for Big Swole. And I love the fact that they took respected shots at each other's man. I love that. Britt Baker coming at Big Swole. Nobody cares about you. Let's be honest. The only reason why you're even relevant is because of who your boyfriend is. And Big Swole comes right back and she goes, I think she either said I'm engaged or I'm married. And she said, baby. And that's a nice little dig to Adam Cole. That was nice. Britt Baker countering back the only way she knew how to counter back was to take Tony Schiavone's custom-made cup of coffee and splash the contents into Big Swole's face and everything. Okay, all right. So essentially, we've got our instant Acme feud right here. Okay, all right. That's great. So it's nice to see what's next on the horizon for both girls. I've really been enjoying the work of Big Swole. I really have. Finally had an opportunity to check out her podcast. I actually like her podcast. Her podcast is actually pretty good. I'm trying to think if there's anything else from AEW on this. I don't think there is. I think we pretty much had covered all the bases tonight. But as far as building up rivalries, really nice, tight vignettes, doing a better job in the character development. I know I shitted on it many weeks ago, but the whole Dark Order thing, isn't it funny? Now that it's possibly going to be Luke Harper, and I know some people are kind of holding out for Matt Hardy as well, and I don't blame you guys, especially with what we had saw of the latest Free to Delete episode. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but I'll say this much. Young Bucks kicked the living shit out of Matt Hardy. That's all I got to say. Nice little cameo, too, by Matt Hardy's son. I loved it. The blooper of that was hilarious, particularly. But isn't it funny that we didn't give a damn about the Dark Order? I got to be part of that as well. We didn't give a damn about the Dark Order. We wanted these guys off of our fucking TV like yesterday. But then they start doing these vignettes, and it's, okay, you guys are doing these vignettes now. You guys should have been doing these vignettes from the very beginning to get people involved and build up the cachet. You were doing it ass backwards, but okay, all right, it's good now. And now we're in this position where it could either be Luke Harper or it could be Matt Hardy that's going to be revealed as the Exalted One. And I just find it funny that now we give a damn about Dark Order. I just think it's so funny. You just can't help but wonder, well, if it wasn't for one of those two guys being involved with the Dark Order, would we still give a damn? And let's be honest, no. We would probably still want to see the Dark Order off of our TV. At this point, we're tolerating the Dark Order because we know that the payoff. And remember, I was here on this show months back. I said, man, it would be great if they could add Christopher Daniels. Remember that? I said it'd be great if they could add Christopher Daniels. Another thing that would have been great too is if they would have added my man James Mitchell. He is a underrated fucking manager. For you guys that remember your Impact Wrestling, the guy that was managing Abyss. That dude would have been a perfect fit for Dark Order as well. There's a guy that for a long period of time, he actually wasn't doing anything for any wrestling promotions that I'm aware of. He was just kicking back, enjoying life and everything. And I actually had watched Impact Wrestling for the very first time since the whole Tessa Blanchard controversy had went down. And I was like, oh, there's no James Mitchell. What's going on here? And I'm not sure what's going on with his contract status and everything. But he definitely, you want to talk about restoring the manager, he definitely would be a great addition for AEW if they're looking to add more managers and everything. But I won't say necessarily he being the Exalted One, but if anybody could have pulled it off pretty damn well, he definitely could have pulled it off. Kevin Sullivan, such a great fucking mind for the business. Man, that's right up his freaking alley as well. But now it really seems as though we're going in either Luke Harper or Matt Hardy. Honestly, I hope that it's Luke Harper. I really hope that it's Luke Harper. I hope that it's not Matt Hardy. I just would like to see Matt Hardy really stand out on his own. That's just where I'm honestly coming from. It is for selfish reasons. But I find it interesting that now all of a sudden, majority of us, now we're interested in Dark Order again. But AEW did pretty good this week. I gotta say, they did a pretty strong episode. I did poll you guys, asking you guys, what did you think about AEW Dynamite? This poll is exclusive to Twitter only. So if you got Twitter, feel free to go ahead, cast your vote over there. And I gotta tell you guys, if you do end up giving me a follow on Twitter, it doesn't exactly help to have a blank avatar. I'm gonna let you know that right now. The odds of me interacting with folks with a blank avatar, hardly any interactions, a lot of retweets, I kind of look at that like a trolling account. So if you mean well, you definitely got to represent and kind of switch up your game a little bit when it comes to Twitter. AEW Dynamite so far, I'm seeing that 14.3% of you are giving it a thumbs down. Meanwhile, 85.7% of you are giving it a thumbs up. So, good results right there so far. I would agree with the majority. It was a good episode. Meanwhile, NXT did poll you guys asking, what did y'all think about NXT for this week? 30.8% of you are giving it a thumbs down. Meanwhile, 69.2% of you are giving it a thumbs up. It kind of felt, this week with regards to NXT, it kind of felt like an episode you honestly could have did it without. You actually would have been okay. And I'm not sucking the dick of AEW in any type of way, so people don't take it that way. But no, truthfully, it really felt as though if you didn't watch NXT tonight, you were okay, because I mean, there was a little bit of progress as far as certain programs and everything, but you actually would have been okay. Quick notes from NXT. Keith Lee, he did open up the show. He defended his North American Championship against Cameron Grimes. Defended it successfully. Post-match, Damian Priest attacked Keith Lee from behind with a baseball bat. Yeah, he was trying to take a brother out, man. He trying to put him on the sidelines for a good minute. Dijakovic actually came in for the save. And how does Dijakovic get his appreciation? How does he get the, oh, man, thank you for being a pal, man. I needed that when I needed it the most. Thanks for coming for that save, man. Thank you. Well, he gets a power bomb by Keith Lee. A disoriented Keith Lee comes to as Dijakovic is picking him up, and Keith Lee just pretty much slugs the hell out of him, sets him up, successfully plants the power bomb on him, leaves him laid out, grabs his title, rolls out of the ring. Dijakovic looks on pretty damn pissed, and you've got the commentators selling it like gold. Don't even think Keith Lee was aware that Dijakovic actually just saved him. It wasn't even Dijakovic that attacked him. So I can't wait to see how things are going to be between these two guys. Because remember, Keith Lee said to Dijakovic, go talk to William Regal. If you want another match with me for the North American Championship, any place, anytime, it doesn't matter to me. Let's do it. So now you've got this interesting little dynamic that's in there. And let me tell you how that's probably going to play out. Keith Lee is probably going to see the footage. Damn, bro, I messed up. I'm so sorry. I can see that right now. And maybe there's going to be some type of a weird scenario where there's going to be a tag match. I can almost see it. I can almost see Dijakovic, Keith Lee teaming up to take on Damian Priest. And I'm trying to think of who the other person could be. And honestly, I could see Cameron Grimes right in there again. If you want to just kind of keep up with the consistency or whatever, I could see Cameron Grimes. That was a fluke, man. I could see him doing some crap like that. But basically, when it's all said and done, Dijakovic gets his comeuppance by essentially leaving Keith Lee high and dry for Dijakovic for Damian Priest and Cameron Grimes to pick up the W. I can see a scenario coming about where when it counts the most and Keith Lee is extremely exhausted and he's looking for that hot tag by Dijakovic. Dijakovic leaves his ass hanging and it's basically Payback's a son of a bitch. I can see it playing out just like that. Or it's a case where at one point Dijakovic decides, okay, enough's enough. I got him real nice and comfortable thinking we're all good and everything. Let me attack his ass. The referee can't call for the bell. Can't call for the bell when your own tag partner is assaulting the hell out of you. I can see Dijakovic assaulting him, leaving the scraps for Cameron Grimes, Damian Priest, leave Keith Lee's ass hanging high and dry that way. But you got to do something like that. And I don't have a problem with them going in that direction because at this point, let's be done with the formalities between Dijakovic and Keith Lee. Oh, you're so good. Oh, you're good too. Oh, you're a fighting guy. You are too. Let's fight again. Yes, we shall. You need a little bit of friction. You need a little bit of drama to go on in there. So I think that's the respected direction that you got to go in. Gotta say, NXT, y'all broke my hearts this week. WWE, y'all broke my hearts this week. You didn't give me my fix of the beautiful and the lovely. You don't go here. You didn't give me the beautiful and the lovely Bianca Belair. What's up with that? Every single time we get a week and there's no Bianca Belair and there's no Chelsea Green, but particularly there's no Bianca Belair, we as fans should be able to automatically find the WWE. That's just wrong. That should be a crime, man. Mia Yim, little consolation prize. She was in action this week. She was in action against Dakota Kai. She actually had picked up the W thanks to Raquel Gonzalez, because Raquel Gonzalez thought she was going to be able to distract the ref and help set up Dakota Kai to pick up a win. She tried to do it via schoolboy, but the referee did not turn around in time. Referee came pretty close, actually, to throwing out Gonzalez. But Mia Yim, she did manage to kick out of that roll-up and essentially turn the tides on Dakota Kai, pinning her, getting the 1, 2, 3, but she wasn't able to celebrate that long as Gonzalez post-match went right to attacking Mia Yim. And I was under the impression that somebody was maybe going to come out to help out Mia Yim, but nobody ever did, because it kind of seemed like they were lingering there for, it seemed like it went about 3 minutes over for me, just about 3-4 minutes over that they were doing their attack on Mia Yim, but nobody came to Mia Yim's aid. So, hey, obviously the direction we're now going to be sliding into is Mia Yim, Gonzalez, two tough broads, man. And I'm telling you, if y'all had missed what she was doing in the Mae Young Classic tournament and y'all haven't really been able to get a chance to see some of her sporadic appearances in NXT or see some of her stuff at house shows, y'all are definitely going to be in for a treat. I can't wait to see where she is now. And by the way, I saw this picture a couple of weeks ago. I never got a chance to comment on it, but it's worth going out of your way to check out online. There is this eerie picture of Gonzalez and Sonya Deville side by side. Hair is out. Look like identical twins. I bullshit you not. Look like identical twins. Really, really makes you wonder if it's even possible that they are related. Whether it's second or third cousins, you just can't help but wonder. Hey, not for nothing, but Larry David and Bernie Sanders, they're actually family. Believe it or not, go do your research online. That's some useless trivia for you guys. So as a result of Mia Yim picking up that W, do a little recap for you guys. There is going to be, in a couple of weeks, a number one contender ladder match to try to figure out who will be the number one contender to face the NXT Women's Champion. So far, Mia Yim and Chelsea Green have both advanced. So I want to say the slots, the way it's going to fill out, It's either going to be 4 women or it's going to be 6 women. So 4 or 6. Kind of have that in your mind with the way the bracket was looking. I meant to take a picture of that, but was doing a lot of multitasking tonight. There was a match where Kushida had took on Raul Mendoza. I sadly did not watch that, and I got to be honest with you guys. As much as I am a big fan of Kushida, I just have not been enjoying his stuff in NXT. I'm hoping that eventually Kushida asks for his release, and I'm sure you guys can kind of understand where I'm coming from, because I had no problem with what he was doing in ROH. I definitely did not have a problem with what was going on with him and how he was being utilized in New Japan. But so far in the WWE realm, it's just not clicking for me. I hate to say that, but it's not. And I'm a big Kushida fan. It almost kind of reminds me, thank God that Kota Ibushi did not sign with the WWE, because there's just no telling what would have happened with that guy. There's just no telling. Have you guys even seen how Kota Ibushi looks now? I mean, he has really grown into his man body. And I think it was a couple of years ago when I was talking about Kota Ibushi, I said, this guy is still growing and everything, but peep that physique. Watch, in a couple of years, he's really going to start filling out. And man, has he filled out. He almost has a Tanahashi build that's going on. That dude is thick and big. And I mean that in the most complimentary way. I mean, he's very muscular now, man. Go check him out when you guys get a chance. Yeah, I skipped that matchup though. Saw Rhea Ripley promo. She's kind of basking in the glory on what all had went down Monday Night Raw. Her attacking Charlotte Flair, hyping up the match that's going to be going down between her, Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. Charlotte came out. It was weak. It was a weak little exchange that they had. Pretty much Charlotte out there getting payback for what went down last week. Or I wish it was last week. Payback for what went down on this past Monday's Raw. 2 of them brawling. Charlotte Flair getting the upper hand. Doing the figure 8 on her through the turnbuckle outside of the ring and everything. And nice little brawl that they had back and forth. You know, it was all right. It was all right, but I didn't care for the exchange of words that the 2 of them were having. It kind of felt, I'll be honest with you, it felt like they were trying to do their best to kill a lot of time. That's honestly how it felt. Like they were just killing freaking time. We also saw, and I got to give her a lot of props, man, because sister got thick like I don't know what. I'm talking about Deonna Purrazzo. That girl, Lord have mercy. That girl is getting nice and thick. She's got some nice curves to her, man. She is filling out very well. When I first saw her, I was going, Nia Jax? Then I had to look. You know, I was like, damn, Nia Jax lost a lot of weight. Like, damn, she's still curvy though. All right. And then I had to do a second take. I was like, oh, that's Deonna Purrazzo. Like, oh, okay. Hey, what's up with you? She's getting nice and thick. I like it. I like it. She's come a long way from the Mae Young Classic Tournament too, man. She's come a long way. But she was in action. She had took on Tegan Nox. Man, you can't even rate that match. You can't even really talk about it. Shining Wizard pretty much ended that match after you get past the entrances and all that. I mean, that match, I don't even think that match went 3 minutes, guys. I wish I had a lot more to say about that match, but that match pretty much, it is what it is. Tegan Nox coming out of that. Your main event match of the evening was the Bruiserweights. Bruiserweights were in action. They had took on the Undisputed Era as the NXT tag team titles were on the line. It's actually a pretty good matchup. Bruiserweights coming out on top. However, we did see the Grizzled Young Vets. They did come out, and the Bruiserweights, they were spoiling for a fight with the Grizzled Young Vets, but the Undisputed Era, hey, we're not done with you guys yet. They actually had attacked them from behind and everything. And meanwhile, Zach Gibson, he came in, he hit Riddle in the throat. Or actually, no, correction. No, that's all they did. No, that's all they did. I thought Grizzly Young Vets had did some more. I thought they did some stuff post match. I could have sworn they got physical, but I'm kind of playing in the back of my head. I don't think they did anything. I think they just came out. They were talking a hot mess. They acted. I remember at one point they did kind of come down to the ramp, kind of acted as though maybe they were about to get physical or whatever, but nothing actually happened from what I recall. However, I do remember Zach Gibson getting involved. I do remember him getting physical, but I'm thinking more specifically post match. Some shit went down with the Grizzled Young Vets, and no. Next week is a Adam Cole championship celebration. Also, Mercedes Martinez will be taking on Candice LeRae in a qualifying matchup from what we were talking about earlier. Also, check out NXT UK tomorrow night as Finn Balor will actually be on NXT UK. And he almost kind of had a Chris Jericho, Joker, Kenny Omega type of deal going on, because I believe he showed an image from his phone. I want to say it was from his phone, where basically he showed a picture of NXT UK champion Walter. So now you're under the impression, okay, so Finn Balor has his eyes now set on the NXT UK championship. So one time I'm going to be watching NXT UK just to see what's going on there. Actually looking forward to that. And we did see a joint with Velveteen Dream right before that tag match for the NXT tag titles had came about. We did see Velveteen Dream make a brief little cameo. Just talking a hot mess to the Undisputed Era, but specifically to Adam Cole. And so now that you have that little bit of information, think about what I just laid out as far as Adam Cole championship celebration next week. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? No shit. Velveteen Dream is going to get involved. But see, here's the bigger question. Is Adam Cole anticipating that Velveteen Dream is going to be making some type of a crash at that celebration? And if so, how is he going to exactly counter that? Your guess is as good as mine, but hopefully it's not as cliche as we're thinking, where they're just going to have Velveteen Dream, he's going to crash, he's going to get the one. Hopefully it's a case where actually Adam Cole is anticipating, and he actually is going to have some surprises in store for Velveteen Dream. We'll wait and see how that comes about. Again, that's next week. And of course, Tommaso Ciampa, everything closed out with NXT with Tommaso Ciampa coming out for his closing segment, as originally it was supposed to be a Johnny Gargano promo, and after a break, Ciampa says that he wants Johnny Gargano to come out, explain himself. Johnny does appear on the Tron from somewhere in the Performance Center, and he says that Ciampa is the worst man in NXT. Why is he redeemed? He did terrible things going as far back as 2017 and continues to do so ever since, but he's somehow the good guy. Ciampa wasn't trying to hear any of that shit. He pretty much had exit the ring and was looking for where Johnny Gargano was talking. Eventually finds him. They start beating the holy hell out of each other. Nice back and forth. Eventually the action comes out front and everything. And by the stage area is where the two guys were continuing their fighting and everything. Back and forth. Johnny slaps on the Gargano escape. Leads to Johnny super kicking, and Ciampa is dangling off of the platform. Johnny tells the crowd that this right now, what you're watching, is a very teachable moment. However, Ciampa counters right back, delivers a air raid crash off of the platform that they were on. Matter of fact, with regards to that platform, it was kind of cool how they had the platform set up, because it almost kind of gave me a Double or Nothing vibe with the way the cameras were shooting and angles and all that. But yeah, Ciampa did a air raid crash, sending Gargano crashing through a table below. William Regal comes out with the officials. show pretty much ends that way as officials, William Regal, they're basically checking on both men. So even though Ciampa had sent Gargano crashing through the table off of the stage ramp and everything, both men essentially, they're out of it, and it pretty much had ended like that. So I like to believe that probably on the WWE.com website, we're probably going to get some updates about what's going on with those respected guys, and basically feeds us on social media going into the weekend and all that. But NXT, I don't know. There's something about the show tonight. It just felt kind of average. I felt that AEW tonight, I felt that they did a respected, for me in my book, I felt that they did an 8 out of 10. I felt that NXT tonight for this week, I felt that they did maybe about maybe they did about a 6, maybe a 6.5 out of 10. It just felt, kind of average. If you missed it, you were okay. Whereas AEW it was very structured. The way that they had everything set up, all the segments, everything made a lot of sense. They didn't go off the rails in any type of way. Commentating for AEW was hey, not MLW, but NXT. We always know how that is. But Dynamite tonight, yeah, the better product. Let's talk ratings. I'm gonna say for this week. AEW does get it. But for this week, I'm going to say that AEW is going to do... I'll say AEW does 878,000. And I'm actually typing that up as we speak. I'm going to say AEW does 878,000. Meanwhile, NXT, I'm going to say NXT does... I'm going to say NXT does 730... I'll say 727,000. So once again, for this week's ratings, I'm going to say AEW does 878,000. And I'm going to say NXT does 727,000. So hopefully we'll have those numbers by tomorrow afternoon, as usually that's when it drops. Hey, what I want to do right now is give some shout outs to our Patreon members and definitely to some of our sponsors. And we got a couple more topics that we can dive into before we pretty much get ready to wrap it up for tonight. Like I told you guys at the top of the show, this is going to be about at most an hour 10, hour 20. So we're going to do about an hour 20. And then pretty much, that's going to be it. We could definitely try to do a longer show for you guys next week. But like I said at the top, I got some unboxings I'm going to be recording with the missus. And me and her got to talk a little bit more about wedding stuff. So yeah, that's what's going on with my night. But first off, shout out to some of our cool sponsors, as without you guys, content like what you're checking out right now would not be made possible. So let's give a shout out to our sponsors, as we're brought to you in part by Tony Bing Gaming. Check out Tony Bean Gaming. You want the very latest in all things Marvel Super War, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 for the Nintendo Switch, or Marvel Super War. Tony Bean Gaming, he is your man. Check him out. He's got a great YouTube channel, awesome Patreon paywall as well. Tony Bean Gaming. You want the very latest in tips, tricks, news, reviews, walkthroughs. Tony Bean Gaming. He's got your hookup. We're also brought to you in part by President Evil. Check out the movie. It's on Amazon right now. And the timing, since it is the political season and all, hey, for you guys that love comedy and politics, that's the movie you want to check out, as 3 young girls are stalked by a deranged serial killer that's dressed as the President of the United States. Check it out. It is on Amazon. It's available today. Check out my friend Screaming Bulls 1 on Twitter. That's Screaming Bulls 1, not 1 as in you're spelling it out. You want to go with the actual number 1. Screaming Bulls 1 on Twitter. Check him out if you want some really awesome custom made I'm talking from scratch. Busts of some of your favorite pro wrestlers. Check him out. He's on Twitter at Screaming Bulls 1. On Twitter at Screaming Bulls 1. We're also brought to you in part by CarEyes.com. Car Eyes, eyes spelled EYEZ as in zebra. Check them out. They are providing a really cool and innovative way for you guys to be able to not only look at cars for sale, but go about uploading your own vehicle that you have for sale as well. It's a very cool, safe, interactive process. It's badass. Check it out. And for free, mind you, no cost to you at all, I am offering you guys a Audible free trial. You can start your free 30-day trial from me. Head to my unique URL, audibletrial.com/RCWR. If you've always thought about signing up for Audible or not really sure about it, hey, this is a great way to test it out. And what's really cool about Audible taking advantage of this 30-day free trial, you get to check out a free Audible book of your choosing. No strings attached. You heard me right. A free audio book. So, you want to check out Chris Jericho's No is a Four-Letter Word? Or how about Glenn Jacobs' Mayor Kane book? Or maybe you want to go old school and you want to check out that biography that was released of the Junkyard Dog a while back. Or maybe you want to get ready and check out Jim Ross's new book, Under the Black Hat, which is a fantastic read. I've been reading that daily on my way to work and from work, and it is a fantastic read. A couple of days ago, I had got done reading the chapter about Owen Hart and everything that Jim Ross had experienced from his end. Because remember, he had a front row seat to that unfortunate freak accident, as did Jerry Lawler. So, wow, is all I have to say. And then there was the Cash and Carry chapter that I thoroughly had enjoyed, in setting up everything that went about with Jeff Jarrett and how Jim Ross had a firm handshake with Jeff's father, Jerry Jarrett. You talk about unprofessionalism. It's a great read. So you can pre-order that. You could pre-order the Young Bucks Killing the Business book, or maybe you're not into wrestling. Maybe you're into politics or spiritual stuff, whatever the case may be. Man, Audible, they got your hook up. There's no excuses. For those of you, I mean, come on, look, let's be honest. In this day and age, it can be kind of hard to sit down and read a book. Most people are into hearing audio. Most people are into the podcast and everything. So if that's you, not for nothing, a lot of times these audio books are narrated by the authors themselves. So best part about the Audible trial is after the 30 days is over, if you decide, okay, well, I've tested out the service and everything, and I think I'm good. You can keep that free Audible book that you had downloaded. That's yours to keep forever. No harm, no foul. So sign up, audibletrial.com/RCWR show. Take advantage of that. Good stuff. And also want to give a shout out to some of our Patreon members. Love these guys tremendously. Patreon.com/RCWR show. You guys can check out bonus audio and video content you won't be able to find anywhere else. Shout out to Justin Ripstock. Shout out to John Krauser. Shout out to Freddie R. Freddie. Shout out to Sean Kenter. Shout out to Michael Wolf. And shout out to John Davis. And a special shout out to my good friends over at chairshottees.com. chairshottees.com. Check them out. I'm telling you, you want officially licensed t-shirts from wrestlers themselves? They give the okay. Yes, you can use my name. You can use my likeliness. Go ahead. chairshottees.com. Check out that link. They just put up some stuff. So far, they got Jake Roberts. They got Demolition. They got Road Warriors. They got Sabu. They just released something on Bruiser Brody, believe it or not. Yes, they worked with the estate. They just put out something for Bruiser Brody. So they're adding all types of cool new stuff every single week. It's fucking badass. That's a collaborative effort too by my good friends from Rob Feinstein at RF Video. Definitely I consider him a friend, and anytime I've needed some stuff over the years, he's been fucking cool. And hey, no freebies here. I pay for all of my shit. If anything, once in a blue moon, I'll say, hey, anyway, I can get that early, hook me up. But it's a collaborative effort between he and my man Shaheen from Nuclear Heat Graphics. As we've told you off and on during the show, Shaheen has done a phenomenal job with some of the artwork that you see for what we do with the web streams. When you guys are downloading the show on demand and on the downloads and you see the artwork, that's all Shaheen from what he does over at Nuclear Heat Graphics.com. Check him out. Good shit, but check out chairshottees.com. So look, we had WWE backstage this week. AJ Styles was on there. And look, WWE backstage has almost gotten to a point now where you think you're going to get these really insightful, in-depth interviews where, we're going to be able to talk to these people out of their character and everything. And with AJ Styles, we pretty much got a continuation from what he had did on Monday Night Raw. Okay, whatever. But one thing that was very interesting about WWE Backstage is that the Satin Sheet report by Ryan Satin, we found out that Rob Gronkowski is very close to inking a deal, if it already hasn't been inked, to do some work with the WWE. And now we're hearing rumblings that maybe before the month of March is out, we're going to be seeing Rob Gronkowski. Rob Gronkowski has a lot of personality. There's no doubt about that. He's got some serious size to him and everything. Rob Gronkowski, WWE. Here's my whole thing. What type of Rob Gronkowski are we going to get in the WWE? Because I don't know if you guys have been peeping it out, but Rob Gronkowski, I got to follow his social media accounts because I haven't checked them out in a good minute. But one of the last times I had saw Rob Gronkowski, which was during the NFL season that just wrapped up, he lost all that bulk that he had when he was playing for New England. Now he just looks like a regular Joe. So my whole thing is, with regards to Rob Gronkowski, what exactly is the game plan? And the reports about, hey, he could be showing up before the end of March. Okay, well, is he going to be showing up before the end of March because maybe he's going to be doing something at WrestleMania? Could that maybe be the case? And I see what a lot of people were saying. The only reason why Mojo Rawley is still with the WWE because of that Rob Gronkowski connection. They're best friends and all that. And that very well may be true. But this isn't the first time that we have heard of a pro football athlete that has decided they wanted to go into the world of pro wrestling. So there's no reason to really be knocking that and everything. But I tell you what, I don't know how to really feel about Rob Gronkowski getting involved in pro wrestling. He has the personality for it. I've seen him on and off the field. He is a very, very colorful character. He really, really is. And that couldn't be any more apparent than what you had saw of him at this year's the Steve Harvey Fox version of Dick Clark's New Year's party, the little specials that they do every single year. Couldn't be any more apparent than what you had saw of him on there. So I'm not going to pass judgment just yet. My advice to you guys would be, let's wait and see what's going to be happening with Rob Gronkowski. But the fact that they're mentioning he's close to inking I think he's already inked the deal, and it's just a matter of when are we going to be seeing him. At this point, I would not be surprised if we're going to be seeing him at WrestleMania again. Your guess is as good as mine. What's probably going to be happening with him is it maybe going to be a case where he's going to be teaming up with Mojo Rawley, and they're going to be taking on some Ryder and Hawkins. Is that maybe the direction that we're going to be going with? What are we going to be doing with Rob? Your guess is as good as mine, but I can't wait to see conditioning wise where he's going to be, because mark my words on this. If Gronkowski is really serious about pro wrestling and he's really trying to go at it full throttle, then I kind of feel as though after WrestleMania, it could be maybe about 2 months, almost 3, before we see Rob again, because I don't think you can turn around in such a short period of time in getting the conditioning and putting some bulk on. I don't think you can do it that fast. I just don't think you can. So very curious to see how they're gonna go about utilizing him. But I think WrestleMania, we're definitely going to be seeing him at WrestleMania. So also, this coronavirus, it is going around. We've seen how the president has been handling this. We've seen how nominees Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden have been addressing it in their own respective way and everything. And it has been making its rounds. You see that with regards to the St. Patrick's Parade, that's been canceled. E3 has been canceled. And I see that we got all of these reports that's coming around, and everybody all of a sudden wants to be an expert and say, WrestleMania will be canceled. This is going to happen. WrestleMania will be canceled. WrestleMania's canceled. And let me tell you something. The only reports I would say to you guys right now that you should be, with regards to WrestleMania, the only reports you should be looking at with regards to WrestleMania is WWE. Look at WWE.com's website. I would highly encourage you to stay with them. This is the one time where any other time I would say to you guys, hey, with regards to, if you want to give me the Meltzers, if you want to give me Sean Ross Sapp, if you want to even Ryan Satin. But I would always tell you guys, hey, take that with a grain of salt. But to their credit, they have broken some stories that they did a really good job in confirming. However, in the case of WrestleMania, will it or won't it be canceled? I know that the mayor, governor down there in Florida, whatever the initial statement was that was put out earlier today, that's now been fine-tuned, where now you've got the comment being put out there, we're taking this on the hour, every hour, by the day. We're continuing to evaluate this. The only statement that matters at this point is what WWE is saying. WWE is saying WrestleMania is going to happen. Now, if you follow basketball, you see that with regards to basketball, some of the teams, they're saying, okay, look, we're going to play at this arena. Fans are not going to be there. It's just going to be us players, our coaching staffs. That's basically it. We're going to play this game here, and that's it. And it's gotten to a point now where there is serious discussion in having pretty much the rest of the NBA games that remains to be played somewhere that's very neutral, that both teams can agree, yeah, we'll play there, where there's no fans. So keep that in the back of your head for a second, because I haven't forgotten about WWE and all that. The Covenant down in Florida, shout out to Mission them. They're supposed to be doing that. Well, what's going on with the Covenant? What the hell's up with the Covenant? Covenant, they put out a statement earlier today, and they said, hey, we see what's going on. We feel where everybody is having their concerns, and we're listening to our fans, and everybody really wants us to push forward and everything. And it's kind of like, okay, what the hell is going on here? What's going on with the Covenant? Covenant, they had put out a statement earlier today, and I'm actually looking at it right now because I really didn't tweet that much today. But they basically had put out a statement saying that, they're still going to go on with this. They're going to take the best precautions that they can, and they're going to do their very best to, abide by them. They want everybody to have a good time, obviously, but they want to make sure that they can try to make everything run as smooth as possible, and everything is, but that's the statement that the collective had put out. They're still doing it. They're still doing the meet and greet and all that. Show must go on. They put their statement out there. NBA is taking this, and I hope that if they decide they want to go on ahead and they want to have these games happen at a neutral spot, I don't know. I don't know. Now, I saw a comment in the chat, and this is what I need for you guys to do. When you guys are trying to respond to me in real time, you got to put a link. Otherwise, what's going to happen is when I'm trying to go with the flow of the show, then I got to sit up and I got to confirm what's being said. So the only way I'm going to acknowledge you guys in the chat when you're trying to make a point, you got to back it up with a link. When I see something in the chat, I'm not going to acknowledge it because I'm trying to verify it afterwards. But apparently, while all the wrestling stuff was going on, the NBA had decided that they were going to be suspending the season due to the coronavirus. So just imagine that for a second. Take a step back. Earlier today, we initially, and for the past couple of days, we heard the reports that the NBA was trying to figure out ways for teams to play at a neutral facility and just have it be away from the fans and everything. And now we've got this report. It's official. The NBA is suspending the season due to the coronavirus. Now, I'm looking at a report from Boston.com. This actually came about 55 minutes ago, and I can actually read you this statement per the Associated Press. The NBA has suspended its season until further notice after a Utah Jazz player tested positive Wednesday for the coronavirus, a move that came only hours after the majority of the league owners were leaning toward playing games without fans in arenas. Now there will be no games at all, at least for the time being. A person with knowledge of the situation said the Jazz, who tested positive, was center Rudy Gobert. The person spoke to the Associated Press on condition of remaining anonymous because neither the league nor the team confirmed the test. The NBA is suspending gameplay following the conclusion of tonight's schedule of games until further notice. The league said in a statement shortly after 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So now you understand. So we're kind of in real time here. So that's kind of cool that we're still on the air. Because remember, we came on at 10 o'clock. So it's kind of easy for me to because I'm watching two shows at the same time, pulling up the wrestling little tidbits of info and all that. The NBA will use this hiatus to determine the next steps moving forward in regards to the coronavirus pandemic. So that's the official statement. You can go on NBA's official social media accounts. And that's it for the season. For now, that is it for the season. So Mark Cuban did react to the NBA plans. And let's see what's going on with Mark Cuban. I respect the hell out of Mark Cuban. So really, it's just a facial reaction, apparently. So Mark Cuban, he's finding this out on his phone, and his mouth essentially dropped like a mofo. I want to just play this. Let's just play this. You're not going to see the visual. You're just going to hear the audio. But I'm curious if he had anything to say in this little piece that I'm looking at here. Let's load this up for you guys. And I've got that ready to go. See what we can hear here. It's about 46 seconds.
And that's where the hiatus will start. And you could see right here the reaction from Mark Cuban when he got the news looking at his phone. And then he went and started to discuss it with members of the Mavericks organization on their bench.
He also alerted the officials that are in charge of this game.
Wow, so Mark Cuban, So Mark Cuban, just to give you guys the play-by-play, as the game was going on, Mark Cuban gets the notification on his phone. And I'm more curious when they get ready to interview him, because you know they're going to. I'm most curious, how did he get that? Did he see a statement that was released officially online, or did his respected people, hey, Mark, this is what's going on? But the guys, they were playing the game, and Mark actually goes over to the refs, and he goes over to a couple of the officials. Hey, we got to stop. Shit been suspended. So that's, wow. That is, that's pretty crazy. So to follow up on what I said earlier, this coronavirus shit, like I said, shit is being canceled left and right and everything. And it's affecting people in the craziest ways possible. It's definitely affected me. Now, look, let me tell you something. My wedding is coming up in May. And originally, we were actually going to try to fly out. Originally, we were going to entertain the idea of renting a car and all of that. And then when the coronavirus stuff went down, me and the missus are looking at each other and we're going, okay, flying is out of the question, even if it's cheap right now. There are new reports that's out there. You can go read this for yourself. I was reading one earlier today. And people are taking advantage of airfares because they are so low right now, because people are panicking like a mofo. They do not want to be infected with this. And as a result, airfares drop drastically. And people are going, hey, if I die, I die. Prices this low, I'm taking advantage. Fuck it. So, you know, me and the missus, we're trying to strategize, and we're like, and I know we're past our 10-minute mark. I'm gonna keep going. I don't mind, because the missus had a long day at work. I'll just get her. Let's just keep going. If we can do about an hour 45, hour 50, I'm okay with that. It's really fine. But I'm like, okay, so what are we going to do? So we decided, okay, well, we're just going to use the family car, and we're just going to drive to Florida from DC. We're just going to do that for the wedding. It's like a 14-hour drive, basically. We're going to make one pit stop. And then once we get to a halfway point, rest there, and then pick it up the next day. By the next day, like early afternoon, we're going to be out there officially. So that's what we're doing. This is also how it's affected me. I had tried to, this is real talk. This is real fucking talk. I had tried to borrow from my 401k. First time ever. As long as I've worked many jobs since I was age 17. I'm 39, turning 40 this year. Proud to say I never, ever, Danny, I'm aware of that. I'm getting ready to bring it up. I got that. I appreciate that, but no more side, because we want to kind of, otherwise we're going to have this show run off in many different directions. I appreciate it, Danny. I really do, but just kick back. I got this from here on out. And, you know, this was real talk. So 17, I've been working. 39 going on 40. I've had many jobs where there's a 401k that's presented. And not once have I ever borrowed from my 401k. You know, here we are going into the wedding. And, you know, money's good for the Sanders household. But with everything that we're trying to do, particularly with this wedding, okay, the more money we can have, the better. We can really, really use the money. So I decided, okay, I'm going to set up a loan from, you know, my 401k. And cut to the chase, the stock market has been taking a hit because of the coronavirus and everything. And as a result of that, when I tried to go for my 401k, they basically said, well, hey, Mr. Sanders, the money that, we've been using for your 401k and, we put it into the stocks and everything due to this whole epidemic that's going on, you've actually taken a significant hit. So with regards to this money, this amount that you're trying to borrow, we can't do that. As a matter of fact, at this time, we're not approving any loans right now. Like, really? Like, yeah, it's the coronavirus and a couple other things, but mainly it's the coronavirus. It's like stocks are really taking a hit. We can't. We're losing so much money right now. We can't. We would like to. And to say pissed off is an understatement, because it's, well, wait a minute, X amount of money is being, this is real talk. This is the type of shit that's going on. So, whether you're not necessarily infected with the disease, you're somehow affected by it, whether it is your travel itinerary or you're trying to borrow, in this case, from your 401k or what have you. We all in North America, or the areas that are affected by this, we're feeling it somehow. And so I can't tell you, to say that the tone in the Sanders household was a little bit somber as far as, great, we have even more pressure now. What the fuck are we going to do? And, depending on who your company is when it comes to a 401k, some of them can give you a bunch of loopholes anyway in trying to make it difficult to get that money out to you when you need it most. So this coronavirus, it is really, there's so many different layers to it. And I don't see enough people talking about this, but when I didn't initially comment on the coronavirus because I was trying to get more information together about what it is, what's going on. I could definitely tell you it's affected me at work. I don't know how it is for you all, respectfully, but it's definitely even affected me at work. First time ever. And I've been working at my job. I'm in market research, working as an analyst. First time ever in the almost 10 years that I've been up there. Boss wants to know what's going on with your computer setup at home. I'm like, say what? Yeah, they're only really going around asking certain people, but they're giving you high consideration, since you were trying to help out in the database department, a while back. What's going on with your computer specs? How's your internet? What's your upload, download speed? Can you fill out this document right here? And it's gotten so bad, this coronavirus, that in the DC metropolitan area, in case you guys are keeping tabs, there's been people that's been infected with it, that came across people. I lost the track of the number. I want to say 3 people out in Maryland. I think 2 people out in DC. I think maybe it's 1 to 3 people in Virginia. So, now it's like a full court press out here in the DMV. DMV means DC, Maryland, Virginia. That's how we've always abbreviated for decades. We say DMV. So here in the DMV, now it's gotten to a point where the boss is going, all right, if push comes to shove and this really starts to get out of hand, we're going to need certain people to telecommute from home. So now I'm being considered for telecommuting. Like, okay, well, all right, so you're telling me I can save on transportation money by basically working at home in my slippers, basically? Yeah, fucking sign me up. I spend enough as it is on gas and on metro, bus, and rail because to get to and from work. So I'm probably losing, out of a month, I'm probably losing about $200+ just on gas, metro, bus, and rail combined. I'm losing about $200 a month. So to almost maybe be in a position where I'm now going to be telecommuting, okay, well, it kind of sucks that it's getting to that point where it's starting to become that antisocial. Okay, but that's a nice little bright spot because I'm able to save X amount of money. So this coronavirus, as I'm learning more and more and more about it, I can't help but go, man, this reminds me so much of the Legionnaire's disease. And if you guys don't know anything about that, do some research on that. In particular, what I'll highly recommend to you guys is look up the episode of Forensic Files. And you should be able to type in a Bing Google search, Forensic Files, Legionnaire's disease episode. You should be able to find it very easily. Depending on who your provider is. So if you have YouTube TV, they've got essentially the entire Forensic Files series on YouTube TV. Because I've actually been playing around with YouTube TV. I'm actually going to be making the switch to them from Verizon for my TV services in a couple of weeks, and I've been trying them out. I love it. I highly recommend YouTube TV. You save a lot more money too. But when you learn about the Legionnaire's disease from 1976, and you see what's going on with the coronavirus, let me really put this in perspective. I haven't done a new update in a couple of hours, but when Legionnaire's disease had hit in 1974, the casualties of it, grand total, it was 34. You see what's going on with the number of deaths that's happened with this coronavirus. You know, even though it's been roughly about what? Almost 3 weeks, I think. It feels like it's either been 2 or 3 weeks. We're already at 31 deaths. 31 deaths. Legionnaire's disease in 1976 was 34. And we haven't even found the cure for the coronavirus yet. That's some scary, scary shit. It really is. And when you look at the grand scheme of things as far as WrestleMania, for the McMahon family, let's really understand something here. And it would be so easy to say WrestleMania is going to get canceled, but you don't know Vince McMahon. You don't know the McMahon family that well if you're so quick to judgment to say that. Because if there's one thing that Vince McMahon cannot stand, he cannot stand to lose money. And let me tell you something, man. That's pretty good what happens with those quarterly reports, how a big bulk of everything positive that comes their way, cash flow positive that is, that Saudi deal has helped them. But in its own respected right, for this quarter, when the next report comes a couple of months down the road, they also rely on WrestleMania. And if there was ever a time for WWE to be smart in how they handle this whole coronavirus deal, it's right now. You can still do WrestleMania. Honestly, I think what should happen, give all the fans their refunds. Give them all their refunds. That's some serious money that you're losing for the gate. For the gate itself. That's some serious money that you're losing. But at the same time, if there was ever a reason, more than a reason, why you need to be pushing the WWE network. What have I been saying on this show consistently for a series of years now? And I just brought it up a couple of weeks ago. I said one of the things that has been killing the hell out of WWE with regards to continuing to be even more cash flow positive, have even more money come in. They keep throwing out these goddamn free network subscriptions like it's fucking Halloween candy. Help yourself. Just go ahead. Take a handful. Take 2, take 3, take 5. I got plenty in the closet. Go ahead, help yourself. And that's pretty much how they're acting with the WWE network. You know, you go to the freaking Walmart or whatever. Adrian is saying it's very bad. The coronavirus is very bad out there in the UK. My thoughts are with you because we do have listeners in the UK, Australia, Canada, Singapore. I see the analytics on YouTube, so I see where you guys are coming from, majority of you all. So my thoughts are definitely with you and everybody else that's suffering with this. I can only imagine. But you go to your local store, Walmart in this case, and you could pick up a box of honeycomb or whatever, and you get 3 of those boxes, you're able to get 3-month subscription of the WWE Network. So wait a minute, if I spend $250 3 times for 3 cereals, I can get the WWE Network for free for 3 months. But essentially, that's crazy. That's crazy. And Adrian is updating. He's saying there's been 9 deaths so far in the UK. 9 deaths so far. 500 cases, 9 deaths so far. You know, that's fucking insane. So WWE, if there was ever a time that they needed to be smart about the WWE Network, this is that time. This is that time. Fucking stop with the free subscriptions. It makes so many people feel disgruntled. I can't tell you how many people, long-time network subscribers, man, they're not tossing us a bone. Where's our incentive for all these years that we've been giving them our money? And they keep throwing out the free network subscription. It's one thing if you did a 3-day trial, 5-day trial, even a 7-day trial. 30 days? There was ever a time, I'm telling you, what should have happened as soon as this had first broke out, WWE should have had a full court press. Let's monitor this. Hey, for the time being, let's put on hold this whole free network until we learn more about what's going on with the WWE, as far as WrestleMania goes. Let's hold off until we know more about this coronavirus and then go from there. That's a lot of money that they are going to be losing at the gate. And when I say at the gate, as far as live attendance goes for WrestleMania, that's a lot of money. You guys that have tried to get WrestleMania tickets over the years, I know I have, you see how much they're going to be losing some serious money. If you're lucky, you might be able to get half of that back. Half, if you're lucky. Just by, okay, you want to see WrestleMania? You're either going to have to go through the WWE Network or, sadly, I don't know why, because it's like, you want to pay $50 or do you want to pay $10? But sadly, it's still available through respected cable satellite providers. But this is a time right now where they got to be smart about it. I believe, push comes to shove, WrestleMania is still going to happen. Whether it's in front of fans or it's in an empty arena, WrestleMania is still going to happen at that arena. Can I give you the worst case scenario? Either an empty arena or the mandate, every single fan that decides, and this is WWE's call, WWE, if they decide, hey, look, the people know the risk, they want to come hang out, that's on them, but this is what we need to do to ensure everybody's safety. And I think the mandate needs to be, if they decide they want to have the public come, if you want to come, you got to wear a mask. You cannot take the mask off for anything. If you are seen removing your mask, you're ejected. You're automatically ejected. You don't get no refund, none of that. To be nice, I think one warning is enough. Because everybody knows what's been going on with the coronavirus. If somebody has to talk to you once, that's your one and only warning. The next time, you're ejected. That's just how it goes. You're ejected. So imagine that. Now, you would need to double up on the security staff at WrestleMania. Obviously, you would have to double up. But you can do it in such a way that is not only controlled, but is very calm, very professional, most importantly, very respectful. And as people are coming, you just get the mask ready. Do you have a mask? Oh, you have a mask on you? And encourage the public, hey, if you have mask, if you have gloves, bring those with you. If not, we will be able to provide gloves and masks, although our supplies may be very, very limited. You can stress that. But to help combat the coronavirus, hey, we're encouraging you, if you have face mask, surgical mask, if you have gloves of any type, bring those with you. The more people that come equipped, the better, in making sure that we can better attend to those that do not have that with them. Nothing wrong with that. You're not going to wear the face mask and the gloves, you can't enter the arena. Plain and simple. You cannot enter the arena. Now, some of you guys may say, all right, Lee, that's a really good idea, but what are we going to do about when people want to eat, when people want to drink? Well, honestly, the best thing that we can do with regards to eating and drinking, don't serve alcohol. Just offer water. Just offer water. Now, some of you guys, man, that's for. Well, come on, man. You got to sacrifice here. It's give and take. You can't keep gimme. You got to make some sacrifices. So to those people that, oh man, I don't want WrestleMania to be canceled. I really want to go. Please, I really want to go to WrestleMania. We got to make it happen. Okay, well, if you're willing to come to WrestleMania, then these are the sacrifices that you're going to have to make. That food is more of a luxury. If anything, in a press release, we encourage families, everybody that's going to be coming to WrestleMania, eat before you come. Eat, drink before you come. As far as beverages, we're just going to be offering water. That's it. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can easily, take the straw, go under your surgical mask, or if you're wearing a scarf or whatever, you can easily go up under it and you can sippy sip that way, enjoy the rest of the show. You can easily do it that way. But you got to be smart about it. I think that is the best, reasonable, sensible approach to how you can still do WrestleMania. Honestly, don't even have them come, really. But if you want to do it and you're not trying to risk losing all of that money, then those are the precautions that I think you have to take. And that is the best sound advice that I would give WWE during this time and how they should go about handling WrestleMania. But to say one more time what I mentioned several minutes ago, I know everybody, WrestleMania is going to be canceled. WrestleMania is going, if Vince McMahon can make that money, he is going to make that money. Remember, this is a man here. Let's remember, one of the first live sporting events in the United States was WWE after 9/11. So don't tell Vince McMahon can't, because for him, where there's a will, there's a way. If he can make it happen, he's gonna happen. That's a lot of money. That's a serious hit that they would be taking in their next quarterly report. And even if everybody would understand, even if WWE would be able to rebound and all of that, they rely on WrestleMania during this quarter, right? They need that. They need that right now. So I'm not seeing WrestleMania be canceled. And let me tell you something. If WrestleMania were to be canceled, I gotta tell you, that would surprise me. Seeing the stuff about E3, St. Patrick's Day Parade, NBA, that whole unknown thing, that doesn't really surprise me. But anytime the mighty WWE, because really think about this, put it in real true perspective. Just a couple of years ago, we had the shit that was going down in Saudi Arabia. And everybody was in an uproar. Oh, that journalist Khashoggi, he was assassinated by the Saudi prince, WWE. What the fuck? How could you? How can you do this? And all this other crap. And you had people that were imploring. Who's the little geeky guy with his HBO show? John Oliver, whatever, his Last Week with John Oliver or whatever. You even had that guy that was blasting the hell out of WWE, and you guys shouldn't be what the hell's wrong with you guys, blah, 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 blah. And everybody was all of a sudden an expert on what was happening in Saudi Arabia and telling Vince McMahon and the WWE, under the circumstances, you all should not be going to Saudi Arabia. You know, what the hell? And yet, Vince McMahon, ultimately it was his call and everything, decided, no, you know what? We're still going to go ahead and we're still going to do this. And when it was all said and done, where's the consistency these past several times now that WWE has gone out to Saudi Arabia? You notice this died down dramatically. You don't hear a peep now. So, you know, look at that history there. You got what Vince McMahon did after 9/11. Show must go on. This is the same Vince McMahon. I just referred to the chapter in the Jim Ross Under the Black Hat book where the show went on after Owen Hart tragically fell to his death. And the show continued on. If there was ever a time to take a week off afterwards, okay, now that the pay-per-view's over and done with, we're going to Monday Night Raw. If there was ever a time to just, fans will understand, we're going to take that week off. Show must go on. Saudi Arabia. Show must go on. So, WrestleMania, I think if Vince can help it, the show will go on by any means necessary. I'm telling you, I would be really, really shocked if Vince McMahon decides, nah, I'm done. I'm not gonna do WrestleMania. It's just too risque. I'm not gonna do it. You can't help but wonder how this is going to affect baseball, because isn't spring season, you know, isn't that like underway right now or about to launch or whatever? Probably the only casualties that's not being affected by this right now, to say the least, for now, MMA. But I would like to believe that MMA promotions, I can't wait to see how they're going to be following suit very, very soon, if at all. That's going to be a very telling tale. And then you've got freaking who's the other guys that's going to be following suit? Golf. This is about that time for like Masters or whatever, right? So Robert Palmer tournament or whatever. Not Robert Palmer. Robert Palmer tournament. Football is probably the only thing that is kind of safe right now. There's not even training camps just yet or whatever. And Purple is saying in the chat, baseball season is in 2 weeks. So, wow, it's just all I have to say. This is just a wait and see approach. But do yourselves a favor. Go check out that Forensic Files episode I was mentioning about the Legionnaire's disease. Very fascinating episode. It's about 30 minutes long, minus the commercials. And you just learn a lot. And as you're watching it, you just can't help but go, yeah, this coronavirus, it is kind of like the Legionnaire's disease. Only, you know, it took them a minute, but in a rather timely manner, they were able to find a cure for Legionnaire's disease. But to see that the death toll, again, for the U.S., just for the U.S., the death toll when Legionnaire's disease hit, total amount of casualties was 31. And you look at the coronavirus, and we're already set up in, what is it? I think the number is 31 is where I left it. You know, and I'm sure that, you know, look, we'd be here all night talking about what's happening in certain countries, and, you know, this is going on and that's going on. And a nice pretty little ribbon that I just want to put on it. You know, if you guys are affected by this, you have my deepest thoughts. My best well wishes are with you. You know, look, we're all hurting in some form, whether it's the people that have been infected by this or some of the stuff I told you that's going on with the Sanders household, you know, earlier tonight. You know, we're all hurting from this in some type of way, but we all just need to continue to try to be diligent. We all need to continue to try to remain as calm as possible. And most importantly, listen to our body. If something doesn't quite feel right with us, we need to do our best to, okay, well, is it the common cold? Is it the flu? What exactly, you know, the remedies that I'm used to taking, is this doing the trick? Am I getting better? You got Ted Cruz, who came across somebody that was infected with the coronavirus. He self-quarantined himself at home. You want to talk major celebrities, Tom Hanks and his wife. Big fan of their work. Tom Hanks, that is. They are infected with it. It's just, the best thing we can do is just try to use caution. Try to do our best to be mindful of our surroundings. I put out a tweet earlier today and I kept it short, sweet, and simple. I said, the more that we're learning about the coronavirus and everything, if there was ever a time to be mindful about what we're doing in public, what we're touching, who and what we're around, now's the time. You should already be that way, but it just seems like now with this coronavirus, it's really heightened it even more. And maybe you could kind of, minus the deaths, maybe you could kind of look at it as a blessing in disguise, because now you're being so mindful of your surroundings, and now more than ever, you're being reminded of proper hygiene as far as making sure you're washing your hands properly, and you're also taking the opportunity to use hand sanitizer and all of that stuff. It's weird when you think about it. Again, minus the deaths, because any loss to this is very unfortunate, much like with what happened with the Legionnaire's disease. The best thing you can do is just continue to be rational. Based on what's been happening so far, older folks have been passing away from this. We haven't really heard of any reports where, this person that's 10 years old, or this person that's 23, or this person that's 32. It seems to be much older folks that are dropping from this. So it pays to have a really good, strong immune system and everything. But if you think that something is going on with you, self-quarantine yourself. Try the over-the-counter remedies. Try the Mucinex. Try the NyQuil, the Dayquil, all of that. And you know your body. You've been taking that stuff for years. If after a couple of days, if you're not feeling any better, and if to the point you're feeling more like shit, then you need somebody to take you to the hospital, because something could be seriously wrong. But I hate to end the show on that note, because that's almost kind of like a Debbie fucking Downer. But just please, everybody, just as I always close out the show, I always say, until next go round, please be safe and be kind to one another. Now more than ever, be safe. Mind your surroundings, and stay on top of your hygiene. That's very, very freaking important. I don't really have anything else I want to get into tonight, because I did want to just spend a big bulk of the time on the whole coronavirus stuff. Your next edition, I'm going to be dropping it for you guys. At this point, chill mode for the rest of the week. I got a painting I need to catch up on, so I'm going to be spending the rest of the week quietly catching up on some painting. Your next show is Monday. Actually, you know what? I don't even know what we're doing for the Monday show. Because Monday is the Stone Cold show, where Stone Cold's going to be a guest on Raw. And afterwards, they're doing Broken Skull sessions with Bret Hart. So I still got to put a poll out asking you guys, do you want a Monday show, or would you rather we just do a Wednesday show and we could talk about Raw? We could talk about the Broken Skulls episode. So I'm going to have to poll you guys and figure out what do you want as far as this coming Monday goes. I'll have that poll out for you guys tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. It'll be exclusive on YouTube. So check that out. That'll be good. Patreon stuff. I will be dropping some Patreon content later this week. Right now, there's a new Better Call Saul recap. Have reviewed the 5th episode. Or was it the 4th episode? Was it episode 4 or 5? I can't remember which episode they did this week, but I remember I did review. That's on Patreon right now. Patreon.com/RCWR show. Meanwhile, you can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use keywords, the RCWR show. And I can't stress it enough, especially for you guys on YouTube that check out the webcast. You like what I do. Please, apparently it helps out. Like the videos, share, most importantly, subscribe. Click the bell notification and select all notifications so you guys will always know when something new is coming your way. Those of you that's going to be waiting for this on demand and on the downloads, give me about give me about an hour or so, and if I can, I will definitely push this out. Otherwise, I will have it be available for you guys Thursday evening. Sorry, but Thursday evening, worst case scenario. All right, much love as always. You guys be safe, be kind to one another. Take care.